In this video, I will provide you with the background of the events that led to the Vietnam War and a graphic illustration. Vietnam is located in a very productive region of Southeast Asia, with many raw materials and fertile soil which the Vietnamese people worked, and it helped them create a very prosperous society. When the European powers started exploring and founding colonies in the East, it didn't take long for them, especially for France, to feel attracted to this land, which they gradually colonized and officially annexed in 1884. After the annexation of Vietnam, the French consistently oppressed the Vietnamese people, and this prompted the rise of a nationalist movement out of which many leaders emerged, including a young communist by the name of Ho Chi Minh, who will take the spotlight later on. Years later, in 1940, France, along with its allies, was at war with the Axis powers, one of those being Japan. Due to the proximity of Vietnam to Japan, it was easy for the Japanese to invade Vietnam, which they did in 1940. During the Japanese occupation, Ho Chi Minh and his group called the Viet Minh were the main resistance against the Japanese and fought them until 1945, when the Japanese surrendered. In 1945, Vietnam was still considered a French possession, and it is in this year that Ho Chi Minh and the Viet Minh declared independence from France, which ignited another war with France that started in 1945 and dragged on until 1954, when the French, the Viet Minh, and other parties met in Geneva, Switzerland to sort out the terms of peace and independence. Although Vietnam was granted independence, there was still a problem. Vietnam was divided. In the north, Ho Chi Minh and the communists ran a socialist republic, while in the south, Ngo Dinh Diem ran a capitalist republic, and it was agreed that free elections would determine whether Vietnam would be a communist or a capitalist state. But Ngo Dinh Diem, the leader in the south, opposed these elections, and in the late 1950s, the Vietnam War officially started. At first, the United States decided to remain out of the war and let the South Vietnamese fight on their own. But in 1963, Ngo Dinh Diem was assassinated in a military coup d'etat, and 2 years later, the United States officially declared war on North Vietnam and decided to enter the war on the side of the South Vietnamese. They sent troops, supplies, money, and other types of assistance to the South Vietnamese. By the late 1960s, more than 500,000 troops were stationed in Vietnam, and many people started questioning the role of the United States in the war. Finally, in 1968, the Tet Offensive was launched against the South Vietnamese and the Americans, a coordinated attack orchestrated by the North that really put the United States and the South Vietnamese on the hot seat and questioned whether they were able to hold the advance of the North Vietnamese and reunite Vietnam under a capitalist system. Finally, in 1973, the United States, South Vietnam, North Vietnam, and other countries decided to meet in Paris to sort out again the terms of peace. And it was agreed that the United States would stop fighting in Vietnam and that a ceasefire was to be proclaimed. Although neither party respected the ceasefire, and the fighting kept on going for another 2 years until 1975, when the North Vietnamese invaded Saigon, the capital of the southern state, and reunified Vietnam under communist rule. It was the first time the United States was forced to accept a military defeat, and it would be 20 years later that the United States and Vietnam would officially reopen their diplomatic relations.